Hey everybody, this is Jennifer. I'm coming to you with another sales update video. I did some thrifting today. Got some great stuff. Not that I need it. I now have about 3 decent size death piles going. But you know when you pass a thrift store and you're like, well, I'm passing it, so I might as well stop. I swear, I only thought I wound up coming home with $52 worth of stuff. But one of those things was a pair of Allen Edmonds 14D shoes, which I'm so happy about. And I looked them up and I should get about $100, I'm hoping, and they were only $4.50. They were actually half off. They made it to the half off point, which was really surprising. So it was a really great day. I just wanted to make this video before I start taking pictures. Also, I want to tell you, I started watching this seller yesterday on YouTube. I'm not positive, I think he only started making videos this year. I'm not positive about that, but his name's Tino, the Soul Advisor. It's Tino, and Soul is spelled S-O-L-E, Advisor. Definitely check him out if you sell shoes, or if you want to sell shoes. He's got a lot of great information, and he also talks about keywords, like what are good keywords for different types of shoes, and that I found very helpful too. Plus, I've picked up a couple of new brands already, and I only watched a few of his videos, and he has a bunch of them. So definitely watch him if you're interested in shoes. Okay, the first item I have is an Estee Lauder black tunic dress. I paid $5 for this at the Salvation Army, and it sold for $19.99. The next item I have is an Izod Gulf sweater. It's cotton. Now, if this was wool, it would have sold better than cotton, but I had it for a while. It was $1 at the Salvation Army. Whenever you hear me say it's $1 at the Salvation Army, you know it's old. I've had it for a while because that sale stopped a long time ago. It sold eventually for $12.99, and any of the totals I'm giving you is including shipping, just so you know, because lighter items like this, the shipping is included. Anything over £1, the buyer pays for the shipping, and I'll just give you the total including the shipping. Okay, this is a pair of Venus, which is not important. The name is not important. There's a tag. Capri Pants. They were lace up the side, and that's why I got them, and they were size 12. I picked them up for 50 cents, and they sold for a best offer of $12. This is a pair of women's express cropped pants, Capri Pants, wide leg. You'll hear me talk about Express a lot. I like the Express Editor pants, the dress pants. They will usually always sell between $15 and $20. They're very easy to list. If you have good sales around, you usually can pick them up for a couple of dollars or even less. And it's just a quick turnover if you price them right. These, not as much. They were 50 cents and they sold on a best offer for $12.99. Now, I do not pick up bags normally. I don't know a lot about bags, and I get nervous that if it's a better name, it's going to be like a bootleg and I'm going to get thrown off of eBay, so I kind of stay away from it normally. But this, I like this bag. It was like this weird, it was very hard for me to get the color right, but it was kind of close. It was like a very blue teal. Let me get the tag for you. There's a tag. And B. Makowski, I guess I'm saying that correctly, a convertible crossbody messenger bag. It was $4, and it sold for $31.59. This is a Levi Pearl Snap shirt. It was it? Yeah, it was Western, and it was orange and blue, just as you see in the picture. And I've sold it twice, and the first time the man emailed me and said, "You sent me the green one, can I have the blue?" And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was insisting the blue was green, and looks exactly like it looks in this picture, and that is blue. So he returned that because it was green, and Tyree sold it. And the second person did acknowledge that it is blue and kept it and was happy with it. So I paid $2 and it sold for $15.99. This is another Express. It's a floral dress. It was 50 cents at the Goodwill and it sold for $15. Okay, this is a pair of Harley khaki colored carpenter pants. Harley Davidson, there's a tag. That's the tag you want to look for. I pretty much pick up anything that's Harley Davidson. Maybe some of the t-shirts I'll look up. But if they're cheap enough, I just pick them up and put them in a lot. Like if I get like 3 of them. This was $4.50 at the Goodwill. That's full price for their pants. And I did not look it up before I bought it. And it sold for $27.20. And this is a Reebok Jacket. It was 2XL. It was $1 at the Salvation Army. And obviously it's old. I had it for a while. It was that dollar sale. And it sold for $19.19, which isn't bad because I think that's like a $12 profit, around $10 to $12. Okay, this is a Marilyn Monroe denim cropped vest. I just thought it was interesting. It was only $1 at the Salvation, so I did have it for a little while, and it eventually sold for $15. This was kind of cool. This was, I wasn't sure what this was, to tell you the truth. It was, I knew it was some military something. And at first I thought maybe it was like a reproduction of something, and then I looked on the inside and saw these crowns and number, and I'm assuming a name, I'm not sure. But I didn't know how to list it, and I tried using crowns and stuff like that with the type of hat it was and Google searching, and nothing was coming up. So I decided to put it on and just describe the hat in the title. And luckily somebody saw it and said, hey, that's a Royal Swedish Air Force hat. And I wrote back, I'm like, oh, thank you, because it wasn't selling, because no one's like just looking for 3 crown hats, you know. Once I put this in, it sold like within a week. So I paid $2.50 for it, and it sold for $20, and it shipped first class mail. So it was about, you know, $13 profit on $2.50. Okay, this was a corset from Morbid Threads, and it was $1 at the Salvation Army. So yes, it was old. And some of this, I think I did look this up if I remember, because it was such an odd item, I actually remember looking it up. And I think some of this stuff sells pretty well from there. So if you do see this, look it up and see if that item in particular sells well. And this sold for $15. Okay, this is a Nike Storm Fit athletic pants. Now I'm going to tell you, it was $1, but it is not old, meaning it's not an old listing. This was a box I put on the shelf and totally forgot about, and it was sitting there forever. So it's an old item, but it was a new list. I think it only took a week to sell. So if you see these athletic pants, see it says Storm Fit, the zipper bottoms, it's got the white lining on the leg, it has the mesh lining on the top. They sell very well, and they're pretty good money. So if I ever see these, I'll pick them up for the full price, like $4.50, $5. It sold almost immediately for $25, and I only paid $1 for this pair. Okay, this is a Ralph Lauren blazer. I should have put Chaps in the title. It's Chaps Ralph Lauren, as you see here. Always put the type of Ralph Lauren in the title just to cover yourself, because like Lauren Ralph Lauren, Chaps Ralph Lauren, they're not as good, and you don't want that coming back at you. So I try to always put that in the title. But this was really great because it's a nice jacket, and it was 50 cents. It made it to the Goodwill 50-cent sale, which was shocking. And I'm noticing at the 50-cent sale, the sports coats are almost always being overlooked. And sometimes even with a sports coat too, you want to look for material as well as you know, the name. Because sometimes you'll find cashmere sports coats, and like I just found I think it was size 54 today, camel hair, 54 vintage. I don't know what it's going to go for, but it was $3, I think, $3.50, something like that. So for that price, that large a size, a great vintage. So I'm not sure, I might even put that one on Etsy. But this, back to this jacket, this was 50 cents, and I think it made it here because it did not have a size tag. That's why I put the question mark after the size, and then immediately in the item condition notes I say there is no size tag. This was all done by measurements. I'm telling you it's a 42 short by measurements. So not only do I measure it, but I try to find that jacket and hopefully the same size actually, and compare the measurements. Most people measure jackets and they put those measurements in their auction. So try to find the same jacket or something really close with the same brand and look at the measurements to make sure you're putting the right thing. Is it a short? Yeah, it measures exactly the same. So luckily I did find this, it had the same exact measurement, so I kind of knew. But even then I left it a little leeway, not saying it's exactly a 42 short. I left it that, hey, I went by my measurements, double check it against a coat of yours, make sure that the measurements fit you. The person bought it, they bought it for $32.19, which is great on 50 cents. And they were fine. They were happy with it. No return. Everything's good. So don't be afraid if it doesn't have a size tag. Okay, the next item is a Banana Republic dress pants. Nothing special. I usually pick up dress pants. They're really easy to list. You know, you just kind of like throw them up there, front, back pockets. That's it. I picked these up for 50 cents, and they sold for $15. And $15 pretty much is that magic, for me, that magic number you're looking at, and that does include shipping. A lot of the smaller sizes with the dress pants, they go first class. So if you have sales like I do, and a lot of times you'll find these pants a lot on these 50-cent sales, like the Express especially, and you just pick them up and you can sell them for $15, and you're making like $10 on 50 cents if that's what you want. I mean, if you're looking for higher dollar items, obviously this is not what you want to do, but if you're good with like $8-10 profit, you know, you may want to look for these. Okay, this is an Orvis jacket. It has like these toggle buttons, sort of. And here's the tag. I don't think it's vintage. I don't think this is a, oops, there it is. I don't think this is a vintage tag. I just thought it was interesting. It's kind of like Sherpa, and I like the design. So I paid full price for it, which was $5 at the Salvation Army. And I think it took a couple of months to sell, but it sold for $22.20. This was kind of cool. This was a vintage open cardigan, kind of with an Aztec, sort of an Aztec kind of design, multicolor. And it wasn't even a good fabric. It's made by Debut, which I don't think means anything. I don't think the name means anything, if I remember correctly. It's all the design. I thought it would photograph well, and it did. So it kind of has a, if you look at the bigger picture, it photographs well. I think of that when I'm looking at clothes, certain clothes where it's not really a good brand name. Is this going to photograph well? Like black clothes are like a nightmare because you can't get any definition to them, and people really, all they see is the black outline of the pants. They don't see any definition. When you get something like this, it really does photograph well. This sold very quickly for $27.19, and I paid $5.50, which was the full price for this. And this is a pair of Keane. Now, I'm sure you've heard me talk about Keane before. Keane is very good. If you see Keane, pick it up. I think I have a pair of like high tops now, men's Keanes, and I think I have them out for about $60, and it has a whole bunch of watchers and viewers on it. So definitely look for this brand. And also, if you see here, I say Casey slip-on shoes, right? Casey is the name of this particular shoe. I don't know that that's the name of that particular shoe when I pick it up. I don't go, oh, there's a Casey shoe, you know. What I do is I'll go and Google search, not on eBay, literally Google search Keane, and I'll just play with the numbers that are given. Like I'll put the 1011409 in there, and I'll see if it comes up with the name. If there's multiple numbers, I'll try multiple numbers until hopefully something comes up. But about like 80% of the time, it will pull up something from some retail store, and sometimes you'll get to see the name of the shoe. And like here, I got to see at a retail online store what it retails for. So then I can put that in there and say, hey, look what a great deal. These are in great shape. They're normally $110. You're only going to pay $39.99. So that's another thing to look for. Look for the name and try to look for, if it's new enough, what it retails for. That could help you out. So these sold full price. They sold $39.99 plus shipping. So the buyer paid $52.74 for these shoes. Okay, that's all I have on eBay. On Etsy, we have 2 vintage cat cast iron hooks. And I wasn't sure if they were from the 1980s. I found someone else who was selling them. They said confidently, these are from the 1980s. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with that. They sold, I would say it took a couple of months, but they were only 49 cents each at the Goodwill. And they sold for a grand total of $32.74. So look out for those vintage cute cast iron things like this. Okay, this is a 2 figurines are 6.5 inches tall, porcelain. I had these forever, not online. I literally went to a flea market when I just started. I used to sell like retail. I used to sell like wholesale. I used to buy from media. So buying one thing at a time at flea market was totally brand new to me. So I just ran around buying different things and literally playing, trying to figure this out. And I wound up with a lot of stuff. And I wound up with these 2 items, and there's no markings. So it was very hard for me to research them to find out how to sell them. And since I was new at researching in this way, I kind of just got frustrated, put it in a box, put it on a shelf, and totally forgot about it. So a couple of months ago, I took it out. I'm better at the research with this stuff. I actually found them, and I paid $10 for the set. The guy wanted $10 each, and I said, I'll give you 10 for both, and he was like, great. And they sold for $39.99 plus shipping, so I think it was $54 something altogether. So they were very happy with it. These are really cool looking. I don't even think the pictures do them that much justice. But definitely look for unique items like this. And this is just nothing special, just a little Canadian Montreal maple leaf pin. It was a quarter at a church sale, and it sold for $7.66. Okay, the last item I have is a Pyrex basket, and this basket comes with a story because this lady was a little crazy. What I think happened, this sold before Easter, like she got it right before Easter, and I have a feeling she used it, and I have a feeling she just wanted it for an event, and then she wanted to return it. But the way she went about it was kind of crazy. I think I got the email about 7 days or so. It was like after the holiday. It was afterwards. And this basket had wear, which I showed in the pictures. I only charged $20. You can actually get some, if it's in perfect condition, you can get more for these baskets, these Pyrex baskets, especially if they're large like this one. And it had some stains from use on the bottom, but the bottom was really good. Like it hadn't been soaked, so the cork wasn't popping up or anything. The cork was nice and flat. It just had a few markings. But when you're serving, you have your thing in there. It's covered. It's not like you're exposing it. So I listed it like that, and I fully described it, and I said it's shown in the pictures. It's shown in the last 2 pictures, and I fully described the wear. and it sold fairly quickly, and I thought everything was okay. And then I got an email, and it was literally, I got an email that looked exactly like these two pictures, a picture of the side like this and a picture of the bottom, except it was from her home. Like, she took the pictures identical to the ones I have in the auction at her house, and she sent them to me with no email. Just sent me these pictures with no words. And I was like, okay. I'm like, why is she doing this? This is really strange. So I emailed her. I said, I don't understand. These are identical to the pictures in my auction. What are you saying? And she's like, oh, this is the worst basket I ever received. And I said, why did you buy it? I said, it's exactly as shown in the auction, and it's exactly as described. And she wouldn't answer me. She would never answer that question. And finally, I just kept repeating myself. I said, please go look at the auction. Please go look at these last two photos. Please see that this item was fully described. And her answer to that finally was, I don't feel like I have to go look at an auction and read the description where I never looked at the pictures in the first place or read the description. So she's saying, like, if I never read the description, why do I have to now? I didn't even know what to say to her. So I said, listen, just return the item. I'll refund you your money. And which she said, you pay for it. Well, that was it. I mean, I wasn't going to pay for a return on a heavy item like this when I did nothing wrong. Luckily, this did not happen on eBay. If this did happen on eBay, probably would have been a little different, because eBay is so strict, and it's so, you know, they really ding you when you get negatives and stuff like that. So luckily this happened on Etsy, and this really did open the gate. I was very curious about the policies of Etsy, and like, you know, how did they feel about this? So I actually emailed them and said, hey, this is what's going on. And, you know, what are your policies? How do you feel about this? And they wrote back, they said, hey, this is your business. Do whatever you feel is right. You know, just make sure you had it in the description. You know, you want to do the right thing. You know, if it wasn't as described, you probably should. And if it is as described, she said, you don't even have to accept the return. And I was like, great. And see, I still would accept the return. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to pay for return shipping when it's as described. So I said to her, she throws a fit. She said she's going to contact Etsy. And I said, please do. I said, because unlike you, they do look at the pictures and they do read the auctions. I said, they're not going to take you on your word. I said, they're actually going to look at my auction like you didn't do. So with that, it just all stopped. She stopped emailing. She stopped talking. She kept the item. She never returned it. And surprisingly, the most surprising thing, she never left negative feedback, which was absolutely shocking to me. But, so, even with all that, it still was a good sale. It only cost $3. It sold for $27.79. It didn't affect my feedback, which is great. So you have to make decisions on your own. Like, sometimes you just kind of have had it with these people, and you do take a stand. But if she left me a negative, would it have been worth it? I'm not sure. But, like, it was just, she got me on the right day. I just didn't want to deal with her, and I just wasn't going to let her have this one. And like I said, I really believe like she used it and she just wanted to be able to use it for free and return it. So, you know, make your own decision and don't listen to what I have to say. Make sure it, you know, if you want to keep pristine feedback, you may not want to do that. It may not be the thing you want to do. But it all worked out for me, luckily. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.